John 16:31. Apokrithe autois Jesus. Arti pistuita. Notice that we are saying that with a rising intonation. We are going to translate according to the punctuation of the Nestle Aland 28 text, but we will note an alternate interpretation. Remember, right above this, the disciples said, we know that you know all things, and we know that you don't need anyone to tell you, that we know that you've come from God. And Jesus answered them, and asking a question, if NA28 is right here, now are you believing? In other words, are you really believing now? Another possibility, and you can find discussion of this in the commentaries, and you can find some translations that do it this way, would be to take this as a statement. So they say, yeah, we know you've come from God. And Jesus says, so you're believing now, right? At last, you're believing. And the determination of the meaning there is purely from the context, from an analysis of the literary context, not the grammatical forms themselves. This pistuita is just a present active indicative, second person plural from pistuo, to believe. Let's note this apokrithe. It's been a while since we've seen that form, but it's a good old friend, isn't it? In the Gospel of John, it's from apokrinomai. And when we write that out, yes, we note that it is a compound verb. It has a prepositional prefix. We note that it's one of those middle only or omai verbs. Oh yeah, that's a verb of reciprocity where you have two parties. If you remove one, it can't happen without that. So a lot of those verbs are middle only verbs. So this verb would be an aorist middle indicative, third person singular. Now the form itself, it has an augment, it has a theta. The form, in form, it's an aorist passive, right? Augment, theta, bam, it's an aorist passive indicative, but it's functioning as a medial passive. We say a medial passive, a passive form that conveys a middle idea. So in English, it's going to sound just active. And there's your subject, Jesus, right? That's why it's third person singular. Jesus answered. And if you look up apokrinomai in a good lexicon, it will note that this is a verb that takes a dative object or dative complement, right? Plus something in the dative. And so that's why we have altois in the dative. That's a dative object or dative complement. Jesus answered them.